Today we are. Should I actually switch that up some? Should I make that shorter? Should I just say, "Welcome back to Retrieving Sanity," where we have recovery-focused healing from addictions and traumas? Or am I going to say that too fast too? Probably, if I don't slow down, no matter what I say, is going to be a little bit too fast. So that's one of my big things I've got to work on is slowing down and just breathing a little bit. Now, Podcast Movement 2025 is over. I don't know why I said that excitedly. I wish there was like another day just to kind of reel everything back in, but it being the final day, not a lot of people actually went is kind of sad. So the first day, orientation day, there's not a lot of people. Second day, there's a lot of people. Then next day, not as many people again. And then today is like, oh, where'd everyone go? Uh, so it did kind of suck because there were some people that I wanted to get their interviews done, but yesterday my mics didn't work with the laptop, and then they did it right before I left, and I was like, crap, I gotta go anyway, so I can't stay. And then today I got there early to set everything up, and it didn't work. So I just had to go around with my handy dandy phone and my Maano T1 wireless. Hang on, wait. I did a whole ad on it. Maano T1 Mini AI wireless lavalier microphones. The T1 Mini Waves. There we go. The box is right there. Oh yeah, and this was the freaking podcast movement tag badge, whatever. So if you went, to go ahead and scan that QR code, and we'll connect on the podcast movement app. So there's that. But what happened today? Well, we didn't really go to a whole bunch of sessions, mind you. I did kind of tune into one, and it was about NASA, and I was like, "Whoa, this is cool." And then it wasn't too much about like space stuff. They were just going on podcast strategy stuff, and I was like, "Oh, well." Now I know NASA has a podcast, so that's really cool. And I actually spoke to one of the people that have some of the creative control in that regards, and they work at NASA, and they work on a podcast for NASA. That's freaking cool. So I didn't know that was a thing. So y'all need to check out what was it? There was Curious Universe and Houston. We have a podcast, so go check those out. That's pretty cool. Give NASA some kind of push for continuing on creative endeavors in science and education. So let's see what else happened. Oh yeah, so the shirt may look similar, right? Y'all have seen the Retrieving Sandy shirt. This one has a slightly different green. The crow has some more vibrance to it, so it's pretty cool. This one came from Fourth Wall, but after I interviewed people, because I just went around with the phone and everything, I just handed them the Sharpie after they were done, and they kind of looked at me like, "What do I do with this?" Because and I just turned around and they're like, "Oh, I see." So, if as you can tell, I did a podcast movement 2025 autograph zone. So these people just went and yeah, uh, signed my shirt after I interviewed them. I thought it was pretty cool. So I got a person from NASA. I got a couple of people that have podcast agencies. I've got a couple of people that have their own podcast with dogs, and then the NASA podcast. So that is pretty cool. And then one guy that also helps. He does a lot of backstage stuff for podcasts, and he helps people become healthy humans again. So all in all, it's super cool. And I see that we are near the end of this recap, and I just want to leave it with saying, stay in tune for the next podcast creation that's coming out of this brain. Because after being at Podcast Movement 2025, hearing everything that's kind of going on, hearing some of the stuff that's going on in the industry, I think I know what some people need whenever it comes to a podcast. So just stay tuned. It's going to be really good, but I need your help. So just show the YouTube channel some love so I know that someone out there is listening, and then that way we can get the next podcast even better, because that one's going to rely very heavily on you, the listeners. So with that being said, we're going to end this here. As always, much love to you. Love others if you can, but you got to love yourself first. And as always, we'll see you next time. Much love. Shalom. Bloop.